Okay, good evening, everyone. Um, we apologize for the hiatus we've had, about 3, 4 weeks off. I hope that gave you some time to re-energize yourself and retune for the program. Tonight, we're going to start off on a lighter note, since it's our first night of our 3 weeks hiatus. Um, we we are going to set the pace for the our next program, which we have been a little in depth. Tonight, I would want us to have a two-way communication, to share your experience or experiences that you've had with your pets, and which is tonight we're going to delve into the human-animal bond. Um, for those of you who may not know what we're referring to, it's basically the relationship that exists between you and your pet, whatever that pet may be, your furry friend, your dog, the cat, a rabbit, a lizard, whatever, a horse, goat, whatever you choose that pet to be. Basically, what we're asking for tonight is for you to share some of that experience that you've had with your pet. Um, the bonding is how that bonding would have affected us, emotionally, um, mentally, how it has helped to enhance our um, disease conditions, especially cardiovascular, meaning diseases affecting your heart. It has been proven that the bonding with animals reduces the incidence of cardiovascular diseases tremendously, help reducing your blood pressure, the rate at which your heart is beating or functioning, and that contributes positively to your health status. The bonding helping to reduce depression, persons with mental health issues. So it's not, it's a, it has been proven, in research that the bonding with the pet, your pet, contributes significantly to your well-being, your health. I'm sure you've heard of, we speak of the microbiome, and in that bonding, it's has been proven as well that the microbiome, which is the microbiological environment in your gut, um, there it has been proven that because of that bonding, that close relationship, that that microbiome is influenced by the presence of your pet. Some of the organisms that is found in your pet's microbiome could be derived from you, and vice versa. So your overall health, your pet's overall health, is influenced significantly by the status of that microbiome, which is your health gut. And that is influenced directly by the food that you consume, or the food that your pets would consume. On that note, I want to make a reference to, there is this craze out there, with dog owners feeding raw diets, and the justification is that when they were in the wild, those dogs have been domesticated for hundreds of years. So the time they've been in the wild have been far, far, far gone. And if the research is proving that the microbiome of the gut is influenced by that bonding with your pet. So that is to indicate that that microbiome have evolved over years, over the period of domestication, over the period in which that bonding has been established. So it's not fitting to make that reference of just feeding the animals raw meat because that's what they consume when they were in the wild. The microbiome would have been adjusted to the environment in which the animal is in. And again, too, in that bonding, the human-animal interaction, the microbiome is influenced by that bonding. So if this is the case, the justification of feeding just raw to the animal as a justification because they were being in the wild, they were just being fed on raw meat. That's a long time ago, so that microbiome would have been changed considerably. And I keep on stressing the diet for the animal. We don't have to go along extremities. It all has to do with feeding a balanced diet. Yeah, whether you want to have part of that diet, if you want to include your raw meats in there as your protein source, that's fine. But don't forget that that feeding has to be balanced, and it has to be a nutritional composition that would meet that animal life stage. If the animal is a puppy, the nutritional requirements would be different to an adult, would be different to a geriatric dog, it would be different to a working dog. And again, we should be mindful of that of the dog or dog's activities, their life stage, so that the feeding would be in line with the nutritional requirements of that animal. So again, be mindful of this. I'm getting this too many times. People just believe that it's a dog and all they want to do is just feed raw. And be mindful again in feeding your raw, that you don't feed the animal raw meat that is contaminated. That could lead to serious issues, health issues for the animal. So keep this in mind, those of you who are on your raw diets. Be mindful again, it has to be balanced. So with the benefits that is to be derived from that bonding, both benefits that we derive as human beings and the animal deriving from that bonding as well, it's tremendous. If we look, we had an experience a couple of weeks back during that absence that we had. A young child, 12-year-old, who lost a furry friend, furry sister. And she'd had that dog while she was a baby, less than a month old. Grew up together, and it was the relationship that was established between the two of them. It was like two sisters, almost inseparable. Yeah. And so the loss of that puppy had that child devastated. And I'm sure the experience that she's having, a lot of you may have had it before, for the simple reason that not understanding this relationship and the expectation that the pet is always going to be there and not realizing that it's journeying, and somewhere along the journey there will be a depart of one from the other. And again, I said it was sudden and never anticipated that it would have ever happened. And she was devastated. And I'm saying this, I know some of you may have had that experience, and we should be mindful of the fact that the animals, their lifespan are shorter, well, depends on the species, shorter than ours. And sometimes because of the bonding, the relationship that we have established with these animals, we tend to forget that one day or at any given time, that relationship can be severed and end at any given time. And when this happens, we are devastated because, again, to not expecting it to happen. And the response that is given at that juncture is that never to have a pet again because it's too painful. And I don't think this is the right response for this situation. I guess because of the way persons feel at the time, you don't want to have another relationship, to have another bonding. And if we understand the benefits of those bonding, we would think of it differently. And again, we should prepare ourselves mentally, that psychologically, somewhere along the line, that relationship can be severed and will be severed. It could be either way, we parting away from that pet or that pet parting away from us. I've had situations where the human component of that bonding parted away from the animal, and the animals suffered just as well. We may not understand, but some animals would have gone into depression of the loss of that human member of that bond or that companion, and would have gone into depression to the point where they would almost want to starve themselves to death. Yeah. So the benefits that we derive, like I said, from that bond is so much. The use of that bond to treat so many conditions. Autism is one of them, and we should have shown that relationship, that bond that established with the autistic child with a pet can help them in a manner that you would not imagine, to improve on their health status as a result of that relationship. There are certain, especially with horses, it has been proven that, well, I think we have a young lady here who, as a matter of fact, is trained in the area of treating autistic kids with horses. I don't think it has been explored, but I think she's still around. So these are some of the areas that probably we can look into and revitalize. And again, to making use of that human-animal bond in enhancing our own quality of life, and vice versa, enhancing the quality of life for that pet. This bonding with humans, and I'm taking down again to that child that had that experience and was so devastated, and her immediate response was didn't want to have another pet. And I think over time, um, this response that she was given as a means of dealing with this situation, I think is going to be cleared, because I think now she understands that the relationship that they have, or the relationship that she had with her furry friend, was not an eternal one. The memories will remain. Um, the benefits that she would have derived from that relationship would have contributed significantly to who she is today, her character, and that I'm sure she will um, be able to take it forward, cognizance of the fact that part of her development was as a result of that bonding that she had with her furry sister, and move forward and build another relationship. Because as you grow older, um, your needs would be different. So having establishing a relationship with another furry friend would help her deal with a lot of her situations as she moves forward. Um, the contribution of how kids improve on their reading skills by reading to the pets, that has been proven. So teachers, I guess your next reading month, maybe you can start it from now, encourage your students to read to the pets. This will help them with their reading, and you can try it and see what results that you get from it. The point I'm making here is there are so many benefits to be derived from this, and sometimes we turn a blind eye to it, not cognizant of the fact that the benefits that we are deriving from that bond, because we don't take it into, we are not mindful of it, so we don't take it into consideration. We have a lot of chronic health conditions plaguing us right here in this country, and mental health situations, persons who are into deep depressions, and not realizing that that simple interaction, that bonding with a pet, can alleviate so much of this um, condition. High blood pressure. And you can try it, those of you who may be suffering from this condition. Establish that bond with a furry friend, and you will see how much that can help to reduce your blood pressure, improve your quality of life. All the cardiovascular diseases where your heartbeat is increasing. This bonding has been proven as well to be able to reduce the rate at which your heart functions, enhancing your quality of life. On the other side, with the kids, I've said it before, I'm sure you may have heard it. This a lot of these soft skills that can be developed as a result of that relationship. The compassion that those kids grow up with by growing up with a pet, being appreciative of life, being appreciative of the health status of that pet, being concerning for that pet. Yeah, that passion that develop over time, that is irreplaceable. And I keep on saying, this is that simple component of us, which is compassion, that some of us don't have, is as a result of a lot of these heinous crimes that we hear of being committed in our society, in our community, because a lot of those persons who commit those crimes won't have any compassion. They cannot give what they don't have when we're asking them to do so. So I think this is an element of our society that is lacking, and this bonding. I'm happy that a lot of young kids are now presenting themselves at the clinic with their pets under supervision of the parents. Will help us, or will help them develop those soft skills that will help eliminate or reduce some of those criminal activities that is manifesting in our neighborhoods. Because I honestly believe this bonding, if we had more of this within our household, extend it to the community, we will be able to reduce some of those incidences that is manifesting right on our doorsteps. Junior, can you open up the line for me, please? So, again, to those of you who may have had any such experience that you want to share with us, you could call in and do so. The number is on the screen, 459788. Please do so. We want to hear some of your experiences. We know out there are lots of them. So don't keep it to yourself. Share some of it with us. The bonding that we speak of, I'm sure on a daily basis, some of you would experience the sight of a stray animal. When I say animals, I'm directing it towards a stray dog on the roadside, wandering aimlessly. And sometimes we need to be careful how which animal we classify as a stray. But I'm going to narrow it down. When I say stray, in this sense, I'm referring to an animal that is roaming the streets aimlessly, doesn't have a home to go to, and he or she is trying to fend for themselves. Some form of food that they can ingest, keep them going, some source of water, sometimes contaminated water that they're taking in, but it's a means of keeping themselves alive. And they will try to do anything possible to do so. And sometimes in their quest of survival, they can cause destruction to other person's property, including livestock. Yeah. On the other hand, we may see an animal on the street wandering, but that animal may have a home that he or she can resort to at the end of the day, and lucky enough they can get the meal and not having or some shelter as well. So there is somewhere they call home. Those animals that ended up on the streets as strays, if that bonding was in place where you had a relationship with a human and this animal, it's very unlikely, that this animal would have ended up on the streets as a stray, because the bonding would have been this nexus that would, or that link that would keep them together. So they may not have wandered too far away from home because they didn't know that there is something good happening. They feel good about that relationship, so they wouldn't want to wander too far from it. Many times, economic situations force the hands of those owners to let go. Um, when truly they can't afford to maintain um, or sustain the needs of that furry friend, especially if there is a medical need, a health need that would require the intervention of a veterinary medical practitioner or professional. So in that instant, what happens? They would just try to sever that relationship, um, let them loose or take them off to certain areas and just abandon them, let them fend for themselves. And we find ourselves with stray animals on the street. Most of them are not being um, neutered, meaning that they are not sterilized, they can reproduce, and those that have that ability to reproduce out there, they do reproduce at a very alarming rate. Yeah. So this is all as a result of the interruption of that relationship, the interruption of that bond, and it is a vicious cycle. Um, People wanting to have the pet, wanting to have the experience, but it gets to a point where they really reality hits home and they can't afford it, and those animals end up out there loose, fending for themselves. And whether we want to accept it or not, but it's a fact, some of those same situations that some of those furry friends are subjected to, we have children being subjected to some of those same situations. So again too, we cannot turn a blind eye to it. We cannot run away from it. The One Health perspective is the response to address those multiplicity of situations that we exposed to. It is affecting us one way or another, whether we want to accept it or not. It's all part of our environment. It's all with us. It's all around us. So we can't turn a blind eye to it. Yes. And again, too, this is where the One Health perspective comes into play. So if we address the issue of the animal needs, animal health, we address the issue of the environment, because they are degrading the environment. That turns right around to affect us, because they contribute to unhealthy components of the environment that can give rise to disease and turn back and affect us. So we cannot not address it and attend to it. And the only way we can do this collectively, holistically, is again through the One Health perspective. Yeah. So if we pay attention to the animal health within our needs, within our immediate environment, we don't let it go out of control to contaminate extended environmental boundaries. We can control it, we can sustain it, and address those issues. If we address it indirectly, and in many instances directly, we also addressing our own health conditions, creating enabling environment to sustain better health for us. Again, too, the environmental issues, if we address it, we don't allow it to proliferate. We also directly, indirectly, when we address those issues, we are contributing to our own overall health. Because don't forget, the environment is the common denominator here. The environment is common to us It is common to the animals, it's in common to the plants. This is the medium that we all share. And if we do not maintain this healthy environment, it is again going full circle right back at us, affecting our health status. The environment is contaminated, it's tainted. This is where we grow our food. So the foods are grown into conditions, environmental conditions that are tainted, not healthy. The quality of those foods also will be affected, and we'll be consuming foods that is not healthy, tainted, not nutritious. So the whole cycle continues. So again, too, we cannot section this. It has to be addressed holistically. And if we started off with the human animal bond and extend it, we will realize how much we are benefiting from this, how much the animal is benefiting, how much that contributes to the health status of the environment, and this cycle continues. So what he's saying, if the environment is healthy, we live in this environment, it's very likely that we too will be healthy. If the environment is not, then we're in trouble. So the air that we breathe, if it is polluted, we're breathing in polluted air, so our respiratory health status would be affected, overall health is affected. If the environment is tainted, the soils are tainted with residues of chemicals, plastics, food being grown in this environment will also be tainted, and it get right back directly within the food chain. The water, we now in the rainy season, persons are still practicing depositing waste into the waterways. Yes, so it's going to find itself into the rivers, into the sea. There is aquatic life in there. Those fishes out there, one way or the other, they get tainted. The heavy desilting that is affecting our coral reef, coastal coral reef, is dying indirectly. The fishes that feed on those corals are being starved, not enough food to sustain them. The population reduced. The catches of the fishermen also is being affected. It's being reduced. So he's consuming more fuel going out there to catch fish on a regular basis, polluting the environment with the combustion of this fuel. His catch is less, so he's coming back home, expending more energy, bringing in less of a catch, less fish available for consumption. Yeah, so it's a vicious cycle that is affecting us. So if we understand this, we try to minimize the amount of effluent that gets out to the water sources that we have, be it the river, be it the sea. Again, too, there is life in there. Yes, this probably has reduced tremendously, again, too, because of the quality of water in our rivers have reduced. So the amount of aquatic life that we used to have in the past, where people used to go out there and actually fish out of the rivers to satisfy the protein requirement of the families. This has reduced considerably because of the heavy pollution to those waterways. You heard fishermen crying out on a regular basis that the catch that they used to have before, don't get it anymore. they need to travel so much more of a distance, and the catch is so much less than what it used to be. We have the use of the fads, well, to create this artificial, how should I say, environment to so that the fishes would settle in, and so the fishermen could access, have travel less of a distance to get some of the catch under those fats. Even the catch on these fats too is reducing. And yet still we hear people crying out of climate change is a hoax, people. We need to be real. I don't think it is. And if we understand that the activities or actions of every one of us can contribute in turning this pendulum around, so please play your part. Um, the One Health perspective is the way to go. No longer health is considered as being in silos. They are all pillars of the One Health. Yeah, your health, the health of the animal, the health of the plants, the health of the environment. They all contribute to the One Health. So if we understand that, keep that in mind, that whatever that we do, we try not to allow it to impact negatively on the environment, not to allow it to impact negatively on the health of the animal, whatever the the um, the use is of, whether it is for companion purposes, whether it is for commercial purposes, for recreation, but whatever the use of that animal is, we need to be mindful that we should not allow it to in one way or the other be injurious to the animal, to the environment, and to us as well. So if we understand that, we help to maintain a positive balance, a positive equilibrium between those relationships, and to help us sustain the One Health perspective. In all of this, it's directly related to preventative health, and if we can prevent the manifestation of certain um, health conditions by adopting certain healthy lifestyle, certain practices, eating healthier, enhancing that bond between us and the animals, the furry friend that we have. Yeah, this will all contribute and impact positively on the One Health perspective in trying to prevent the manifestation of diseases, and not allowing it to manifest, allowing it to happen, and then we try to prevent it. Yeah, it is so much more costly in trying to treat it, and instead of trying to prevent it. And in the prevention, as it is said, an ounce of prevention is better than 10 tons of cure. It's much more cost effective if we can do so. So please play your part, play your role. We all can do it if we contribute to it in a positive manner. Good evening, caller. Oops. Seems to have lost that caller. Sorry about that. Yeah. So the point I'm again reiterating is we all have a role to play, and no matter how small it may appear to be, that collectively it will add on, and it will contribute, it will impact significantly on the outcomes. Um, the again, to we take it back to the whole aspect of that bonding. If we are able to establish this bond, start off with that human-animal interface, um, you will realize how much it will contribute. Right now, healthcare is going through the roof. It's very expensive now um, to provide healthcare for yourself, for your pet as well. Yeah, and this bonding can help reduce on your expenses on health for both yourself and for your pet. Believe it or not, yeah. Um, just this bonding. So people, a lot of the expenses that we are expending um, on a daily, weekly, monthly basis in trying to treat certain health conditions or sustain certain health conditions, we can, a lot more can be derived if that relationship is being strengthened, that bonding with your pets is being strengthened. And those of you who may have not had that relationship, or you have not even realizing it, yeah, um, try it out. You will realize how much you could benefit from it. Um, I remember there's this client who had, I don't want to mention the name, but from the Marshall area, elderly lady, and she had that cat that was hit by a vehicle. The jawbones were crushed, limbs were broken, and came crying, um, try help save the cat. And in her words, that was her companion. She doesn't know what she will do without him. And again, too, his name, we shared a common name. His name was George as well. So took him in, and after weeks of, we had a few surgeries, rehabilitation, and finally George was able to return home to his companion. And I know how that lady felt and how she's feeling now to have that furry friend back home with her. Because she lamented every day. She would call regularly, sometimes every day, every other day, find out how he was doing, how he missed her so much, missed him so much. And you could have seen the joy in her face the day she came to take George back um, at home. Yeah, and I'm sure there, like I said, there are many more persons out there, and her words was she don't know, she was missing him that much that her routine had gone off track because of the absence of him within her space. Some things that she used to do, she don't do anymore, and she couldn't sleep sometimes because she missed him, or he would be the one to wake her up in the morning. So people, these are some of the experiences that, I mean, some of you may be going through it and don't realize how much it contributes to your own well-being. We've had cases where, many instances where um, a furry friend is taken to the clinic or the animal hospital, and everybody is just so down, devastated because for a given name, Tom is not doing well for the past couple of days. He's not been eating, he's not been himself, and everybody's the atmosphere within the household have receded. Everybody is on a low key because Tom is sick, and they'll be calling in how is Tom doing. And sometimes we miss out on those and not realizing that only at that juncture, because he is sick, they're missing him. Certain elements within the household is missing because he or her is not present or not active as or she used to be. Then they realize, hey, but you know, he's sick and the environment in the household is not, it's not the same. Even the productivity levels at work is affected because persons cannot concentrate. They only thinking of Tom or Jerry um, being sick, how he or she is doing, are they responding in a manner that is positive, you know, just because of this bond that has been established. Yes. So something goes wrong, there's an disequilibrium in that bond because Tom is not feeling well and everything just go haywire. Yeah. And again, many times it's only when it happens, then people realize, but wait, you know, they cannot focus at work and the kid is misbehaving and always calling and finding out about how Tom or Jerry is doing, you know, and at those instances, then they realize, hey, you know, that it's not the same because he or she isn't there. Yeah. So people, they are tremendous. And I'm strange that people have not called to share some of their experiences because I know for sure during the lockdown when COVID was very active, yeah, and some clients would tell you straight up that they don't know what they would have done if that furry friend or this furry friend was not present. Yeah, how much they contributed um, to their being able to maintain their mental status during COVID. And it's unfortunate that some of these studies were not carried out during that lockdown. Um, the contribution of those furry friends in people maintaining their health status, their state of mind, the mental health, you know, lots of person will tell you that they don't know how they would have done it if it wasn't for that furry friend that you're fortunate enough to have in their companion. Yeah. We heard of the stories in the United States where you had millions of dogs in shelters. Yes, couldn't find home for them. COVID came, and it was almost like there was a shortage of dogs at shelters because everybody who didn't have a dog because of the lockdown, this was the means of helping them to stabilize their lives. Most of them resorted to going and get dogs at shelters, those who didn't have, to keep at home, to help stabilize um, their mental health, you know, deal with their depressions that they were having, you know. Even within the medical fraternity, persons who were medical professionals who were attending to COVID patients having to be working hours upon hours, and they tell you their only means of maintaining their stability, their mental health, was because of the furry friends that they had. That's what they had to resort to, you know. So people, it's something that we taken very lightly, and I don't think we should, um, because it is impacting significantly on our health status, and some of you are benefiting from it and not realizing it, but you should take some time and, you know, really see exactly what those tangibles are. There are tangible benefits that is being derived, can be derived, and it's not being. Again, too, because of the absence, we don't embrace um, much of that relationship. So I'm asking you, those of you who have furry friends within your space, connect a little more, and you will realize the benefits that both you and that furry friend will be deriving from this enhanced relationship. And those of you who don't have, I'm asking you, again, to you need to understand that if you're going to take on the responsibility of having a furry friend, that you need to be aware of the responsibilities. And it's not just having one, the very same reason. You don't just have a child. There are responsibilities that come along with it. You need to be aware and cognizant of that fact, and don't have one just for having sake and not being able to maintain. Again, too, we don't need an expensive. Some persons now, the talk is they don't want any. They refer to a mongrel or mixed breed. Now it's the rubbish breed. They refer to them now. They don't want that. They want expensive dogs. Yeah, you don't need an expensive dog. A dog is a dog. Yeah. What is important is that relationship that you can establish between you and that dog. Yes, that makes the difference. The price value that you put on it, for me, doesn't really matter much. The, the, the value of that, if you want to put a price on that relationship, for me, means more to me than the cash value you want to put on the dog, just because he or she is pedigree or pure breed. That's fine. That's your choice. But I'm saying you don't have to have a pedigree dog in your midst to establish that relationship. Any dog, like I said, is a dog. What matters is that bond that you can establish between the two of you. This is what matters to me. Yeah, some persons start off with expensive breeds and they can't keep up. Again, too, that bonding, that relationship is lacking because many times some of them look at the fact that it is pure as a means of making money, and that bonding many times has gone through the window. It's not present at all because the focus is just trying to make money. Yeah. So people, again, the message I want to leave with you this evening is those of you who have a pet furry friend present within your space, in your household, if you have not established that bond, you're not bonding, please try to do so. And you will realize the benefits to be derived between this mutual relationship that you're going to have. Both of you will benefit, both the pets and yourself, from this relationship. Encourage the kids, yes, to have the pet, spend time with them, allow them to read to the pet. This is going to help improve on their own reading as well. Yeah. We now, many of those kids don't read. They spend a lot of time on gadgets and they don't read. Encourage them to take a book or even the same gadget that they have. They can use it and read to the dogs. Yes, it's going to help them to develop their own mental faculties as well. Yeah. Encourage them to have a pet. That compassion that they will be able to share with that pet, they will transcend this among their siblings, transcend this among the peers, extend it to the wider community, make our community a better place. Yeah. So I guess we're coming to the end of our program tonight. We went out pretty quickly. Again, too, I was hoping that we'd have had persons calling in and sharing their experiences. A call came in, and for some reason we lost it. Um, like I said, we want to delve into this in the next program, um, because these are some of the things that we tend to be, we don't give consideration to. Um, we just don't even be are aware that it exists, that we have this relationship between ourselves and our pet and vice versa. And the benefits to be derived, we're not even aware of it. Yeah. And if many more persons would take on the challenge, establish the bonding, you know, we will, we can make our space a better space, a more enjoyable space, and extend this to our neighborhood, our community, and make our St. Lucia a better place. So with this, we're going to close off tonight, and thank you for listening and tuning in. And again, too, we apologize for the absence over the last 3 weeks we've had, I guess, on the carnival up to now. Again, too, thank you for tuning in. Saturday, as you know, is the place to be. Animal Talk on DBS. And I'm hoping that the information that you received can be used in a very positive manner and help to enhance your own quality of life, enhance the quality of life within your space, your household, shared with your siblings, your friends, your neighbors. You know, we need to make this place different. We need to make this place a better place for all of us. Yeah, and we can start with our furry friends and extend it beyond. Again, thank you for joining us on this program. Those of you who may have missed it, you could follow us on Facebook, St. Lucia Veterinary Animal Hospital, St. Lucia Animal Hospital, on DBS Facebook page, DBS TV. The programs are recorded. You can also, it's now available on our webpage, veterinarymedicalcenter.com. If you go in there, the link is there, so you could follow or review the programs from our webpage as well. Okay, so have a good evening, and next week, same time, same place. Bonsoir.